Hi students, welcome to Easy Elimu Learning Simplified. My name is Mbithe, and in today's session, we are going to be learning about adverbial clauses. We are going to remind ourselves what an adverb is. We are going to do a recap of some examples of adverbs, the different types of adverbs, and then now go deep into adverbial clauses where we have adverbial clauses of time and adverbial clauses of place. We are going to attempt to construct sentences with those adverbial clauses, attempt to identify them in a sentence and know how to identify them. How do you identify an adverbial clause in a sentence? What will guide you? Are there maybe some words that introduce the adverbial clause? We are going to have a look at all of that. So before we go into adverbs and adverbial clauses, let us remind ourselves what a clause is. Remember when we learned about compound sentences and complex sentences, we learned about clauses. We introduced clauses there. And we said that a clause is a group of words that includes a subject and a verb and forms a sentence or a part of a sentence. And then we also said that there are two types of clauses. We have the independent or the main clause, and then the subordinate or the dependent clause. We also said that the main clause can make sense on its own. It can form a sentence on its own, but the subordinate or dependent clause cannot make sense on its own. So before we go into adverbial clauses, let us do a small recap of adverbs. Remember we said that an adverb is defined as a word that modifies either a verb, an adjective, or another adverb. That is what an adverb is. And there are four types of adverbs. We have the adverbs of manner, adverbs of place, adverbs of time, and adverbs of degree, which are also known as adverbs of frequency. And we said adverbs answer the question how, when, and where. So let us now go into adverbial clauses with that understanding in mind. And so adverbial clauses are just like adverbs because they answer the same question of when, how, and where. So for you to pick out or identify an adverbial clause in a sentence, adverbial clauses are introduced by some words like if, unless, before, after, when, because, since, and as. So when you see those words, they are most likely introducing an adverbial clause in a sentence. So remember we have just said that adverbial clauses function the same way as adverbs. They answer the same questions that adverbs answer. So we can start by looking at adverbial clauses of time. Just like adverbs of time, they answer the question when. If I ask you, when are you going to school? And you say, I will go tomorrow. Tomorrow has answered the question when, and tomorrow is an adverb of time. So adverbial clauses of time are introduced by words such as when, before, or after. Let us have a look at a few examples. The rain fell after everybody had left. The rains fell after everybody had left. So that part of after everybody had left, that is our adverbial clause in that sentence. And it is not just an adverbial clause, it is an adverbial clause of time, because it is telling us when did the rains fall, at exactly what time. did the rains fall, and it is after everybody had left. And the second example, the meeting started before the chairperson arrived. The meeting started before the chairperson arrived. So before the chairperson arrived is our adverbial clause of time. In this sentence, it tells us at what time, at exactly what time did the meeting start before the chairperson arrived. So it is important to note that it is possible for adverbial clauses to come at the end or after the main clause. For example, your sister will be waiting at the train station when you arrive. Your sister will be waiting at the train station when you arrive. So the adverbial clause in that sentence is when you arrive, and the main clause is your sister will be waiting at the train station. So it is possible to have the adverbial clause at the end or after the main clause. It is also possible for the same adverbial clause to come at the beginning or before the main clause. So just with the sentence that we have used in the previous slide, we are going to use it, but this time the adverbial clause will be before the main clause. So when you arrive, your sister will be waiting at the train station. That sentence is still correct, right? When you arrive, your sister will be waiting at the train station. So when you arrive is the adverbial clause, and then your sister will be waiting at the train station is the main clause. However, take note that if you start your sentence with the clause, if you start your sentence with the adverbial clause, remember to put a comma after the adverbial clause. When you arrive, comma, your sister will be waiting at the train station. When you start with the main clause, you don't put a comma. It will just be your sister will be waiting at the train station when you arrive. However, when you start with the adverbial clause, remember to put a comma after the adverbial clause. Let us now proceed to adverbial clauses of place. Remember, adverbs of place answer the question where. Where are you going? I am going to school. Where are you coming from? I am coming from the library. So adverbs of place answer the question where. And adverbial clauses of place also answer the question where. For example, we plant trees where there is fertile soil. So if I ask you, where do you plant trees? You will say, we plant trees where there is fertile soil. So that response, where there is fertile soil, is the adverbial clause of place in this sentence. It has answered the question where. So that's it for adverbial clauses. I hope you are now able to define what an adverbial clause is. You're able to give examples of adverbial clauses of place and adverbial clauses of time. You're able to identify them in a sentence. You're able to construct a sentence with the adverbial clause at the beginning or at the end, and you remember to punctuate very well. So for further practice, you can have a look at the quiz and attempt to do it and see if you can do it. You are required to combine the following pairs of sentences using when, before, or after. I bought a new watch. My old one was stolen. I bought a new watch. My old one was stolen. So you can say, I bought a new watch when my old one was stolen. You can also say, I bought a new watch after my old one was stolen. So please have a look at the rest and attempt to answer them. And thank you for tuning in, and see you in the next session.